So in this video, I'm going to talk about the topic of abortion, but I'll tell you where I stand towards the end of the video. Now, you have two sides on the abortion topic. You have the pro-choice movement, and you have the pro-life movement. Now, don't get me wrong, there are nutbags in both movements. There are people on the pro-life movement who constantly use religion as a reason why a baby shouldn't be terminated, which is an appeal to emotion. And if you're going to talk about why you're opposed to abortion, you should use more credible scientific evidence instead of religious reason. Although it's their right to use religion as a means of saying why they're opposed to abortion. However, though, it is still an appeal to emotion. Now, the pro-choice movement as well, they have their crazies who appeal to emotion as well. Some of the arguments that you see the pro-choice side make are that the fetus really isn't a life yet, so therefore the mother has no emotional connection to the child yet. And why is this appeal to an emotion? Well, it's an appeal to emotion due to the fact that, first of all, while true, when an egg is fertilized, yeah, it has no heartbeat yet. It's a fertilized egg. But when to 3 to 5 weeks comes and there's a heartbeat, that's a human life about to be. And so when you say that, oh, I'm for women's rights, so therefore I'm for abortion, okay, that's your choice to be pro-choice and pro-abortion, but take this into consideration. When there's a heartbeat, that normally detects a human life as being made or being formed. But okay, if you want to use the heartbeat zygote, okay, fine, that's totally understandable, because at that point, yes, still biologically it's still a clump of cells. But when about 25 to 20 weeks comes, the fetus starts to develop consciousness. So they start to form brain function. And if you want to consider it human life then, by all means, go ahead. But keep in mind, the heartbeat comes first. So the appeal to emotion that it's not a human yet is that, oh, automatically, if you're for women's rights and against abortion, you're automatically want to tell women what to do with their body. No, that's not the case. That's not the case. There are women who are anti-abortion and pro-women's rights and who are feminist, because they decide to look at all evidence and not only pick and choose, which a lot of pro-choice people do. Now, that appeal to emotion on both sides does not get credibility, because it's an appeal to emotion. When saying, oh, it's not a life yet, you're basically saying, oh, it's not a life yet till it's actually out of the womb, which is not the case. Which is scientifically wrong and emotionally wrong at the same time. But on the pro-life movement as well, saying, oh, God made this baby. No. 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 Scientifically really inaccurate as well, and does not get credibility. Both sides do not get credibility for the emotional arguments. Now, where do both arguments have merit in their argumentation? Well, let's look at the pro-life movement first. The pro-life movement, who's anti-abortion, and there's a lot of pro-life people that are for the death penalty, which is kind of hypocritical, because if you're pro-life, why are you pro-death penalty? But the point is, though, is that, okay, now, true, to 3 to 6 weeks, 3 to 5 weeks, depending on the development of the fetus at that, there's a heartbeat. And we normally determine what keeps humans alive is the beating of the heart. So, yes, the pro-life movement has merit in the fact that when there's a heartbeat, that normally does signalize that there's a human being made. Now, when it comes to about 26 weeks, 25 weeks, like I said, depending on the development of the fetus, there's consciousness, there's brain function. And that's when the pregnant mother feels kicking and punching from her child that's growing within her womb. Now, these are all signs of human development. Now, where does the pro-choice side have merit in their arguments? Well, yes. When there's conception right away, automatically, yes, that is not life. Automatically, that is not life. It takes the 3 to 6 weeks in order for a heartbeat to actually form. So, when a man and woman have sex and impregnate an egg, automatically that is not life. That's a fertilized egg. That's solely a fertilized egg. It takes a week for that egg to get to the uterus. So that's where the pro-choice people have merit. It's not a life automatically. It takes a while for it to actually form a heartbeat. Now, this is where the two sides kind of agree on. This is where they kind of agree on, but not fully. And where the pro-life movement and the pro-choice movement kind of agree on the topic of abortion is that late-term abortion is murder. It is. Because that's when it's like 6 months into the pregnancy, there's a human being that's well formed and is still forming, and you're basically using a chainsaw in the woman's womb, and you're using it to pretty much take apart the baby that's growing. And this is where both sides agree that that is murder. You are killing a human being at that point. That's the only portion on the topic of abortion that both sides actually agree on something. Now, where do I stand on it? I'm in the middle. My position on abortion is changing. Yes, it is. But at the same time, though, I do not think a woman who is raped should carry the life of a rapist child if she doesn't want to. Because why would any woman who's raped and gets pregnant by that rape choose to have the child? I don't understand that at all. The reason why I don't understand that, because that's ludicrous. That is legitimately ludicrous. Now, if her life is in danger and she could die from the pregnancy, yes, I can understand that that woman getting an abortion. I can understand that. And if she's a victim of incest, if her father or brother raped her and she's pregnant from incest, guess what? I can understand her getting an abortion. I can understand that. Because no woman in those three circumstances should ever carry that child. No woman should ever carry that child in those circumstances. However, though, on the other hand, if a husband and wife or a lesbian or gay couple has a surrogate mother and they're in a healthy relationship, I don't see why an abortion is necessary. I don't. Because if someone is in a healthy relationship with someone and they're married or they're engaged to be wed, I don't see why that couple would get an abortion. Like I said, under those three circumstances, other three other three circumstances, yeah, I could see the possibility of an abortion taking place. But other than that, well, what why would a healthy husband and wife relationship, why would they terminate a child that they're bringing into this world? Most people, if they don't want children, if they're child free by choice, get sterilized. They sterilize themselves so they don't have the risk of pregnancy, which I think is kind of stupid because, first of all, that's permanent. That's legitimately permanent. So if a guy gets a vasectomy, that means he no longer can create sperm, which is actually kind of bad for him on his part as he gets older. Why is that bad on a guy's part as he gets older and him virtually having no sperm in him? Well, it's bad because when guys get older, the male and female body temperatures decrease significantly. So when it's hot out, and when a breeze comes, it's extremely cold to an older person. But when you're younger, the breeze and heat don't really affect you, unless you have red hair like I do, and you're pretty much screwed either way. But testosterone in men specifically helps keep us warm. So guys, if you get a vasectomy now and 70 years down the road, you start to get colds during the winter and you're not warm enough and you have to wear like 6 layers out to walk your dog, guess what? Fault's on you for getting a vasectomy in your 20s. But, and even a woman getting her tubes tied is a permanent fix. They don't untie. They stay tied. And it's the same thing with guys who get a vasectomy. It's a permanent fix. So really consider these permanent fixes if you want to, but know that they're permanent. They're like a tattoo. They stay with you for the rest of your life. Now, I stand in the middle. I do. I stand in the middle. I'm neither pro-life or pro-choice. I'm in the middle. Because I look at both sides and there's credible evidence on both sides, but there's also misleading evidence on both sides as well. So, yeah. That's where I stand on the topic of abortion.